All right, good morning, guys. I know that you are probably wondering where I'm at. I'm sorry I can't be in class today, but I thought I would go ahead and record our lesson for us so we won't get behind a red day, okay? So today we're going to be talking about synthesis, and I don't know if you've ever heard this word before. I would imagine that you've probably heard it in your other comm arts classes, but um, if anybody knows what the word synthesis means, go ahead and raise your hand. Okay, you probably looked funny. Anyway, the word synthesis means to combine into a coherent whole. So this means that we are merging things together, putting things together into one whole piece. So take a minute, look back on our word wall. I know you're all looking back there. What is one word on our word wall that would be a synonym, which that means the same thing, as synthesis? Take a minute to look. If you said that word is integrate, then you would be correct. The word integrate means to mix or merge, and basically when we synthesize sources, that is what we're doing. We are looking at the sources, we're pulling out the most important parts, and then we are mixing them together. We are merging those most important parts together to make one piece. So there are three key features of a synthesis piece, and this is important for you to know before you write your own synthesis piece over the HIV articles that we read last time in class. So the first feature is that it accurately reports information from the sources using different phrases and sentences. So basically what this means is that you are going to be pulling quotes, you're going to be using quotes from each source to support the main idea or the thesis that you're writing to. So the main idea or thesis is going to be what the topic is of your synthesis piece, and you're pulling quotes from each source to support that. The second thing is that it is organized in a way that readers can immediately see where the information from the sources overlap. So you're pulling quotes from each source that relate to each other, and you're wanting those sources also to relate back to your main idea or your thesis. So it needs to be important. It's very important that the reader, which would be me, because I'm going to be reading your synthesis piece, it's important that I can see where your quotes, how your quotes relate to each other, how the quotes you pulled from each source relate to each other. And then the final thing that is a key feature of a synthesis piece is that it makes sense of the sources and helps the reader understand them in greater depth. So it's kind of like a summary, but it takes the summary just one step further by giving an overview of the two sources that you've read, so I have a deeper understanding of what they mean as the reader. So you're using that, but you're helping me understand it deeper by using quotes to support the main idea that you're trying to get across. So steps for writing your synthesis, it's the acronym ICE. The first thing you need to do is identify your topic. So in this case, you are going to identify what your essential question is. So you're looking at how does an individual or group impact the community. It's necessary that you understand what your essential question is and that you understand why you are reading a text, because you need to be able to know what information to pick out. You need to know what your purpose is for reading the text. The C part of ICE is that you need to choose specific quotes. So you need to look at your sources. So you're going to look at both of the ICE Past Print articles that we read, and you are going to pick out quotes that relate to each other. So the articles are related, obviously. They're both about HIV and trying to find a cure for HIV. So you should be able to find quotes in both of those sources that are similar and that support each other. And then finally, you need to explain the quotes, explain your sources. This is where you're going to synthesize the two sources and put them into one common document, and you're going to explain what these sources have in common. And you'll do this by using the quotes that you've looked at for each source. Okay, at this point, you need to reflect on what you've learned. What are three things that you've learned about synthesizing that you didn't already know? So I want you to write those in an email and just send them to me, okay? And this will be a grade for today. This is one of your grades for today, and this will go on third quarter's grades, which are going out very, very soon. So what are 3 things that you learned about synthesizing that you did not already know? When you are finished with that, I want you to go to my webpage, and you're going to go to today's date, March 7th and 8th. So as you know, March 8th, you are listening to the screencast right now. You're completing your reflection, and you need to complete that in an email, and then you send it to me. And then your next piece of this is that you're going to write a 1-page synthesis over the 2 articles that you read last time, and you're going to put that on your Google Docs. Now, I would suggest opening both of the articles and also pulling up the summary analyses that you completed last time, that you filled in the boxes. You were supposed to have those done last time. You need to pull those up. I don't have them completed, but you'll want to pull yours up. And what I want you to do is make sure that your 3 key points that you've picked here, that they relate to each other in both of these. Make sure they relate to each other, and make sure that they can support the main idea that you've chosen, okay? So what is the main idea that you've chosen for each text? And then make sure your 3 key points relate to your main idea and that they relate to each other. So at this point, I want you to write your 1-page synthesis over the 2 HIV articles using all 3 quotes that you've chosen for each article to support the main idea. And what you're looking for, the main idea that you are writing to, is how does an individual or a group impact a community? So in these articles, we saw groups of people, such as the government, that's a group. We also saw these scientists and these doctors who helped cure this baby in Mississippi. We saw them as a group. They've impacted the community as a whole. What community have they impacted? I hope you've guessed the HIV/AIDS community, because that's exactly the community that they've had the biggest impact on. So you're writing to see, you're trying to answer, how do these individuals or groups impact this community as a whole? And those are the quotes that you are trying to find to tie back to that main idea, to that thesis, okay? So remember, when you write a piece, you need to make sure that you introduce what your essential question is, what your main idea is, and then go through and support it, synthesize it, pulling in information from both of your sources. You can email me if you have any questions, and please be nice to Mr. Stegner. He is awesome. Have a good day.